The most advanced diesel trucks ever built are sitting idle in service bays across America, not because parts are unavailable, but because no one will touch them. There are currently 1.4 million unfilled automotive technician positions in the United States. Yet experienced diesel mechanics, men who spent 20 and 30 years under these engines, are walking away from modern trucks specifically. Not from the trade, from the truck. A diesel shop owner in Amarillo, Texas made a decision in 2022 that stunned his employees. He turned away a $4,800 DEF system repair on a 2021 Ram 3500, one of the most profitable single jobs his shop had seen that month. He turned it away deliberately. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why that decision made perfect economic sense, and what it tells us about where the American diesel industry is actually headed. This isn't one man's frustration. This is a structural crisis spreading across 38 states. The American Trucking Association estimates a shortage of 80,000 qualified diesel technicians by 2030. Independent diesel shops, the ones that built their reputations on Cummins, Powerstroke, and Duramax engines, are turning away an average of $22,000 to $47,000 in monthly revenue. That's not because the work isn't there. The work is there. The problem is the economics of doing it. That shop owner in Amarillo, his name is Dale Mercer, 31 years in the trade, walked away from the Ram 3500 because the diagnostic phase alone required $18,000 in proprietary software licenses he didn't hold. Bosch, Cummins, and Ram each control separate diagnostic gateways. Each one charges independently. Each one locks the repair data behind a subscription wall that resets annually. Dale didn't refuse the job out of stubbornness. He refused it because the math didn't work, and the math hasn't worked for independent shops on modern diesel trucks since approximately 2017. The system that created this situation wasn't designed to punish mechanics. It was designed to protect manufacturers' dealer networks. But the effect is the same. And the deeper you look at how that system was built, the more you realize the diagnostic software is only the beginning of the problem. But this is only the surface layer. To understand where we are, you have to go back to 2010. That year, the EPA's Tier 4 emission standards, the most aggressive diesel emissions regulations in American history, came into full force for on-road vehicles. Manufacturers had a choice: engineer around the regulations at enormous cost, or build compliance technology directly into the engine management systems and control that technology through software. They chose software. Every major manufacturer chose software. By 2013, a modern diesel pickup truck carried more lines of proprietary code than a commercial aircraft carried in 1995. The Selective Catalytic Reduction System, the DEF injection system that cuts NOx emissions, required an engine control module that communicates with 14 separate sensors simultaneously. That module speaks a language only the manufacturer's diagnostic tools can fully interpret. Independent mechanics could read the fault codes. They just couldn't clear them, override them, or recalibrate them without OEM access. Locked out. Completely. By 2019, 62% of independent diesel shops reported losing at least one major repair contract to dealerships, not because the dealer did better work, but because the dealer held the keys to the software that the work required. The American Independent Automobile Dealers Association documented the shift in a 2020 industry report that received almost no mainstream attention. Here is the number that crystallizes it. The average hourly labor rate at an independent diesel shop in 2023 was $112. The average at a franchise dealership was $189. Customers paid 68% more. The dealer kept the work. The independent shop sent the customer away. Mechanics didn't leave the diesel trade because they got old or lost their skills. They left because the economic structure of modern diesel repair was redesigned, deliberately, to route revenue away from them and toward manufacturer-controlled service networks. But here's what most people get wrong. Most people assume this is a technology story. It is not. It is a revenue architecture story. Here is how the money actually moves. A 2023 Ram 2500 with a 6.7-liter Cummins carries an emissions control system, DPF, EGR, DEF, and associated sensors, with a total replacement value of $11,400. That system requires recalibration every 80,000 to 120,000 miles under normal use. Cummins charges authorized dealers $2,300 per recalibration event through its PowerSpec software platform. An independent shop cannot access PowerSpec, period. That recalibration revenue, across the 4.2 million Ram heavy-duty trucks currently registered in the United States, represents a captive annual service market worth approximately $3.8 billion. That's more than the entire GDP of some small nations. That's more than the annual revenue of every independent diesel shop in the country combined. This is what Dale Mercer understood in 2022 that most truck owners still haven't figured out. Stellantis, Ram's parent company, does not make its primary margin on selling trucks. It makes its margin on servicing them. A $68,000 Ram 3500 sold at thin margin is a 20-year revenue stream routed through authorized service networks. The truck is the subscription model. The owner just doesn't know he's subscribed. Ford structured its Powerstroke service architecture the same way, beginning with the 6.7-liter engine in 2011. GM followed with the Duramax L5P in 2017. All three manufacturers now hold separate, non-interoperable diagnostic platforms. An independent shop that wanted full access to all three would pay a combined annual licensing cost of $54,000 before touching a single truck. $54,000 per year. That's more than the median American household earns in 14 months. Here is the counterintuitive turn. The mechanics who are walking away from modern diesel trucks are not losing. The ones who stayed, who invested in OEM licensing, dealer partnerships, or expensive tooling, many of them are losing. Because the licensing costs escalate every renewal cycle, the software updates require new hardware dongles, and the manufacturers retain the right to change access terms unilaterally. The mechanics who left kept their savings. The ones who stayed are running to stand still. Which means the real question isn't why mechanics refuse to work on modern diesel trucks. The real question is who this system was actually designed to serve. If you've spent time around diesel trucks, as an owner, an operator, or someone who works in a trade that depends on them, you've felt this without being able to name it. You've taken a truck to a dealer for something that should have taken 2 hours and waited 4 days. You've been handed a repair estimate that felt disconnected from any rational cost of labor and parts. You've been told the independent shop down the road can't work on these new ones. That feeling is economically accurate. What most people don't realize is that the right to repair movement, which most Americans associate with smartphones and farm equipment, applies directly to diesel trucks. The 2021 Massachusetts Right to Repair law specifically targeted telematics and OBD data access. The automotive industry spent $25 million fighting that ballot initiative. They won an injunction that has kept the law from taking full effect for 4 years and counting. The data that your truck's computer generates about your driving, your engine, your emissions cycles, is not legally yours in most states. The manufacturer retains access rights. The dealer retains service rights. You retain the bill. Dale Mercer knew all of this in 2022. He knew it because he'd watched it happen in real time, one software update at a time, over a decade. The independent diesel mechanic, the one who could rebuild a Cummins 5.9 with hand tools and pattern knowledge, is not a relic of the past. He is a deliberate casualty of a revenue model. Which brings us to what happens next. The 3.2 million owner-operators and small fleet managers who depend on independent diesel service are facing a consolidation they didn't vote for and weren't warned about. Within 8 years, industry analysts at ACT Research project that independent diesel repair shops will control less than 19% of the heavy-duty service market, down from 41% in 2015. That shift doesn't just change where trucks get fixed. It changes what trucks cost to own, how long they stay on the road, and who can afford to operate them. A small contractor running 2 diesel trucks on $180,000 in annual revenue cannot absorb dealer rate service costs at scale. The manufacturers designed a system where the truck becomes more valuable to them after the sale than during it. The mechanics saw it first. The owners are seeing it now. The rest of the economy is next.